So, I just got some depressing news. I'm going to have 13 dental extractions because I have these massive infections in my mouth, which had led to this ear being completely deaf currently. It's probably slowly coming back. It'll probably come back soon. They think in a week or two. It just a little bit of a rupture, like a hole that was put into. It was perforated basically, so it's gonna heal back up my eardrum. But um, so I've got to get 13 teeth extracted, emergency. Like it has to happen. I also have periodontal disease, which is the gum disease. Um, Basically, left untreated, the bones in my mouth will retreat so far back where the teeth can't be anchored anymore, and they'll start falling out like that. And that's part of the issue is that's already started to happen, and so a lot of my back teeth have rotted away. So they've got to go because they're causing infections. Now my front teeth, all these up here that you can see, the visual ones, they're all fine. They're good. They're great. And left, as it were, they would eventually have the same kind of fate. But because I don't know, the disease can't be reversed. You can't reverse the effects of it. It can't be cured, so I'm always going to have it. But the difference is it can be prevented. It can be slowed to basically a stop. So I'll be able to do that. Now, it does link to some unfortunate diseases such as Alzheimer's, dementia, and heart problems. So I'm looking forward to that. But if it's treated, it can be it can't be reversed, like I said, but it can be slowed and stalled to basically a stop. So I'll have to do a bunch of treatments all together between the healing, and they're going to fit me with some dentures. Now, the dentures that I'm getting, it's not full dentures because, like I said, the front teeth are still fine. I'm getting partial dentures. Partial dentures are actually a lot better, and they'll fit a lot better. They'll fit like real teeth because they'll be anchored to the actual teeth as opposed to like a full denture where the dentures don't at all have anything to attach to, so they just kind of sit in your mouth awkwardly. So at least there's that bright side. I don't know, how much is going to affect everything, but I've definitely dropped back into a depression. And I actually want to tell you the story about how I came out and originally dealing with all this depression that I had. So back 3 years ago, I think 3 years ago, 2021, I was in major depression for about a month straight. And I dealt with depression for a long time because I had various things. I've had various stresses all on me at the same time because I've been hiding this for so long. I've known since I was 7 years old, and eventually it all just piled up, and it was getting unbearable, and I wasn't going to make it through that month without something changing. Luckily, I was laying in bed, and I was just about to go to sleep. If I'd gone to sleep, it probably could have been a completely different story. But all of a sudden, I just got this very strong taste of iron in my mouth, and liquid just poured in, and I was like, oh, shit. And I sat up, and blood just came pouring out of my nose, and it kept pouring and pouring and pouring for the next 2 hours. I called the ambulance, and the ambulance came. The ambulance came, and my blood pressure was like 280 over 197. I should be dead. And that's even after all the bleeding my nose had done at that point. So they took me to the hospital. My nose wouldn't stop bleeding. It didn't stop bleeding for the next 7 hours. So like 9 hours, my nose was bleeding. And it only stopped because they cauterized it. They literally shoved a hot poker in my nose. It was fun. Smelled burnt hair for weeks after that. That's really fun too. But they got it stopped finally. And I reflected on my life and where it led me to at this point. And I realize that life is too fucking short to be scared and hiding. Like I said, I've been this way since I was 7 years old. I've known. But back then in the 90s, the only time you saw a trans person, they were the butt of a joke, or someone killed them because they're gay or something like that. Especially where I was in the South, Alabama, and particularly out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it wasn't a good place, and I was very scared. And I know my sister and my mother, and I wish I'd told them, but my sister and my mother would have listened and cared, but I was just afraid. I was just too scared to do anything about it. And so I stayed hidden and put up this facade of manly man, But I decided after the hospital incident that it was just too much, that there's no point in sitting here and letting everybody else dictate my fucking life to me. And so I came out, and the depression lifted off me, and it was like the whole world came off my shoulders. And it was great. It was good. It was amazing feeling. And now, and I've been fine for the past months. I haven't been depressed and all that kind of stuff. I used to be a shut-in. I'm out partying. I'm out talking to people. I'm out hanging out. Everybody that I go to, when I go to a new bar, I go out to these biker bars in the middle of nowhere for fun, because I know that there's a lot of people out there who haven't met a person like me, a trans person, and I go out there, and by the end of that night, especially if it's a karaoke night, but by the end of that night, everybody in there is my friend. And it's quite amazing how my life has changed around like that. But it's just something that's changed, and now I'm dealing with this, and I'm even more depressed because this could change a lot of things, and I don't know what all the effects are going to be. I don't even know how I'm going to get the money up to get the surgery, because it's going to be $8,000, and even if I have dental care, I don't know if you know this, but dental insurance will only cover a maximum of $1,500 a year. Yeah. Yep. That's right. You heard that right. $1,500. So they wouldn't even cover an eighth of what we need. So, but I decided today that I'm not going to let depression beat me again, and we're going to do a song that means a lot to me, and it is about depression when you really think about it. And, we'll see what happens. I'm sure you'll like it. I've actually done this song before in one of my medleys, but I wanted to do the whole song now because I like this song, and I'm really good at it. So, not to brag or anything, but I think I'm pretty good at it. So, let's see what happens. House in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor girl, and God, I know I'm one. And the only thing a gambler needs is a suitcase and a trunk. And the only time he's satisfied is when he's all drunk. children not to do what I have done. Spend your life in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. If you watched it.